What's up, guys? Welcome back to My Latin Life, your trusted guide to traveling and living in Latin America. Today, we're going to be discussing Mexican nationality law and the path to citizenship in Mexico, a crucial topic for anyone interested in understanding how nationality and citizenship work in Mexico. Maybe you already have residency in Mexico and you're curious about the path to citizenship, or maybe you're examining getting residency with the idea of becoming a citizen one day, or maybe you have Mexican parents or grandparents and you're trying to figure out if there's a way where you can become a dual citizen and obtain that Mexican citizenship. Whatever the way is, whether you're considering becoming a Mexican citizen or just curious about the laws, stick around as we break it all down. So, Mexican nationality is defined by several laws, including Article 30 of the Constitution of Mexico. Nationality determines who is considered a Mexican national, while citizenship defines the specific rights and obligations for those nationals. Mexican nationality law is based on both the principle of jus soli, meaning right of the soil, and jus sanguinis, which means right of blood. This means that nationality can be acquired either by being born on Mexican territory or through Mexican parents, even if the child is born abroad. It's also important to note that the Mexican Constitution makes a distinction between nationals of Mexico and citizens of Mexico. You probably didn't know that. While nationality refers to a person's legal bond with the country, citizenship involves a set of rights and responsibilities that come with that bond. Okay? If you haven't noticed, this video is going to be a little bit more technical than other videos on the topic. Let's keep going. So, according to Article 30 of the Mexican Constitution, there are two main ways a person can acquire Mexican nationality: by birth or by naturalization. First, let's talk about nationality by birth. The Mexican Constitution states that people born on Mexican territory are Mexican nationals, regardless of their parents' nationality. This principle of jus soli, which is a Latin word, by the way, means that if you're born within the borders of Mexico, you're automatically considered a Mexican national. Okay? Meaning birth tourism works in Mexico. And we've had lots of Americans, Canadians, whatever, come down to Mexico, give birth there. But what if you're born outside of Mexico? You're still eligible for Mexican nationality if at least one of your parents is a national of Mexico. This applies whether your parent was born in Mexico or acquired nationality through naturalization. Additionally, children born on Mexican vessels or aircraft that either for war or merchant purposes, whatever, are also considered Mexican nationals by birth. Now let's move on to nationality by naturalization. This is the process for those who weren't born in Mexico but want to become Mexican nationals. To become a naturalized Mexican, you must obtain a letter of naturalization from the Secretariat of Foreign Affairs. If you're married to a Mexican national and reside in Mexico, you can apply for a naturalization after living with your spouse for 2 years prior to the application. The law also sets out specific requirements for those who wish to naturalize. These include presenting an application to the Secretariat of Foreign Affairs, renouncing your original nationality, and taking an oath of sole allegiance to Mexico. You'll also need to prove your knowledge of the Spanish language, Mexican history, and your integration into national culture. Typically, you must have resided in Mexico for 5 years immediately before applying. However, this period can be reduced to 2 years if you meet certain criteria, such as being a direct descendant of a Mexican by birth, the parent of a Mexican by birth, a national of a Latin American or Iberian country, or if you have made a significant contribution in a cultural, social, scientific, technical, artistic, sports, or business area that benefits Mexico. That's also known as citizenship by exception. In other exceptional cases, such as if you were adopted by a Mexican national, the residency requirement could be as short as 1 year. Okay, so lots of different situations here that will impact whether you have a 5-year path to citizenship, a 2-year, or even 1-year path to citizenship. Okay? Possessing Mexican nationality comes with several obligations, as outlined in Article 31 of the Constitution. And by the way, guys, if you're truly interested in getting Mexican citizenship, read the Constitution. Read Article 30, read Article 31. A lot of people try to rely on, YouTube videos and secondhand information, but read the Constitution. See what it actually says. Just go to the source. It's not that hard. You can translate it to English if you have to with Google Translate. Coming back to the obligations, these include the duty to ensure that your children or pupils receive an education, whether in public or private schools. That includes preschool, primary, secondary, and military education as required by law. Meaning homeschooling for Mexican nationals, a little tricky. A lot easier for foreigners. For Mexican nationals, homeschooling is a little bit trickier. And you can see why. Obviously, they were trying to make sure everyone went to school because, historically, a lot of people were poor, whatever. Times are changing. Obviously, they're kind of chill on homeschooling, but that's probably requires its own video. Okay, let's keep going. So Mexican nationals must also present themselves to receive civic and military instruction when required by their local municipalities. Additionally, there's a duty to enlist and serve in the Mexican Armed Forces when called upon, to defend the independence, territory, honor, rights, and interests of the nation. Finally, every Mexican national is obligated to contribute to public expenditures through the payment of taxes. You might have noticed so far in the video, there's a couple things where you're like, wait, what? One of them was renunciation. The other one here is conscription or serving in the army. Regarding renunciation, that's more of a, what would you call it? Like a formality or ceremonial in purposes. Obviously, you don't actually have to renounce Canadian or American citizenship. And then regarding the armed forces one, complicated, but it's not realistic. Like it's not the same as in some countries, such as in Asia and that kind of thing. Okay, let's keep going. So the documents that serve as proof of Mexican nationality include birth certificates, letters of naturalization, passports, a minor's passport, which is known as a OP7 sometimes, and consular identity cards known as matricula consular. These documents must include a digital photograph, a magnetic band, and a holographic identification. In Mexico, like most countries in the Americas, there's a distinction between nationality and citizenship. Nationality refers to a person's relationship with the state, while citizenship grants specific rights and responsibilities to nationals. According to Article 34 of the Mexican Constitution, citizens are those Mexican nationals who are 18 years of age or older and who have an honest way of living, quote unquote. Mexican citizens have several important rights, including the right to vote in all elections, be elected in all elections, gather or associate freely to participate in political affairs, enlist in the Mexican Army or the National Guard to defend the Republic and its institutions, and exercise the right of petition. However, Mexican law also distinguishes between naturalized citizens and natural-born citizens. Naturalized citizens face several restrictions under the Constitution. They are prohibited from serving in various governmental positions, including in the military during peacetime, as policemen, as captains, pilots, or crew members on any Mexican-flagged vessel or aircraft, as the President of Mexico, as members of the Congress of Mexico, as members of the Supreme Court, as governors of a Mexican state, or as mayors or members of the legislature of Mexico City. I don't know about you, but sometimes in Mexico, I just randomly say I'm going to be the governor one day. And just so you know, if you're a naturalized citizen, that actually might not be possible. So it's important to note that under Article 37 of the Mexican Constitution, Mexicans by birth can never be deprived of their nationality, even if they acquire another nationality. This provision ensures that natural-born Mexicans retain their nationality regardless of other citizenships they may hold. This is kind of interesting because Some countries, especially in Asia, like Singapore, they want you to renounce, but Mexico might not actually recognize that. So in that sense, you might be able to be a dual citizen. However, naturalized Mexicans may renounce their nationality if they voluntarily acquire another nationality, present themselves as foreigners, accept nobility titles that imply submission to a foreign state, or live continuously outside of Mexico for 5 years. Okay? So once you become a Mexican citizen, make sure to visit Mexico every 5 years to keep your thing active. Keep in mind that these things aren't automatic. You'd have to go through a process. And so let's say you got Mexican nationality and then you wanted to, get nationality later in life. You're not going to automatically lose your Mexican nationality. There would have to be like a court process there. So I don't know. I think it's a little bit overrated in that sense. While natural-born Mexicans cannot lose their nationality, their citizenship and the rights that come with it can be forfeited if they accept nobility titles from foreign countries, serve in a foreign government without authorization from the Mexican Congress, accept or use foreign distinctions, titles, or functions without Congress's approval, except for those related to literature, science, or humanitarian efforts, or assist a foreign citizen or government in diplomatic claims against Mexico. Mexicans can also renounce their nationality to acquire another nationality if they choose. Mexico's nationality law acknowledges that a Mexican by birth may possess another nationality. Okay? However, in cases where a Mexican national also holds another nationality, they must always enter and leave Mexico as a Mexican, using Mexican documentation as proof of their nationality. Meaning if you're a Mexican citizen, you can't enter Mexico with your U.S. passport. You got to enter Mexico with your Mexican passport. And that's common. That's the same in the U.S. as well. You can't enter the U.S. with a Mexican passport. They want you to enter the U.S. with a U.S. passport. The law also establishes that regardless of any other nationality held, such individuals will always be considered Mexican nationals within Mexico and cannot seek protection from a foreign government in certain situations. All government positions that require the holder to be a Mexican by birth are restricted to those who do not hold multiple nationalities, even if they are Mexican by birth. That includes roles such as police officers and the President of Mexico. Historically, Mexico's approach to nationality has evolved significantly. Though Mexico gained its independence from Spain in 1821, nationality wasn't formally defined until 1836. Early nationality laws included automatic naturalization for wives and children when a foreign man became a Mexican national. Over time, the Constitution of 1836 defined Mexican nationals as those who descended from a Mexican father or those born on Mexican territory to a foreign father who choose Mexican nationality upon reaching the age of majority, who chose. Later laws continued to develop and refine the conditions under which nationality could be acquired or lost, reflecting Mexico's evolving social and political landscape. By 1886, nationality laws began to incorporate more detailed requirements, such as birthright nationality being limited to those born on Mexican soil or born abroad to Mexican fathers. The laws also continued to reflect the practice of married women and minor children deriving their nationality from the husband and father, though provisions existed to prevent statelessness. The Constitution of 1917, created during the Mexican Revolution, further defined nationality and citizenship, although it remained silent on women's nationality rights. Over the years, various legal reforms have expanded the rights of Mexican nationals, particularly women, allowing them to pass on their nationality to their children and retain their nationality even when married to a foreigner. Today, Mexican nationality law is shaped by these historical developments, ensuring that Mexicans by birth cannot lose their nationality, while also providing pathways to naturalization for foreigners who wish to become Mexican nationals. Dual nationality is recognized allowing Mexicans to hold another nationality without losing their Mexican nationality, though with some restrictions when it comes to certain governmental positions. So there you have it, an in-depth look at Mexican nationality law and the various pathways to citizenship. Whether you're born in Mexico, have Mexican parents, or are considering naturalization, there are multiple ways to become a part of this vibrant country. If you have any questions or want to learn more, drop them in the comments below. If you have experiences with Mexican citizenship that you'd like to share, drop a comment. I'm sure everyone would love to read about it, and we'd love to hear about your experience. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.